Welcome everybody. So I finally have the time to actually record my voiceover for my third day of Inktober. This time I'll be painting rather, Syndrome from The Incredibles. Start off with the hair, following the silhouette of Syndrome. But since the reference on the left has his hair sort of cut off, I try to get another reference to fill that gap. Oh, I noticed that using this method, just using one color, I find it simpler to use, as I don't have to switch back and forth with the colors. And pieces like these usually take around less than an hour, to be honest, like maybe sub 50 minutes, because I don't have to draw the sketch and all that. And I find using a textured background to make it more appealing. It's sort of showing as if I'm actually drawing on a real piece of paper. With this, with Inktober's challenges, I don't have to worry about hue and saturation, because I just have to worry about the values. I can focus on that, and this will definitely make the pieces turn out pretty quick. And I'd say it's pretty good to train your hand-eye coordination for this type of practice, though I may be kind of slightly busy with college and all that, but having to edit one video a day is kind of doable. And I would leave maybe like a 3 day to a week gap in between each uploads for Inktober, so I can give myself room to focus on my studies and all that. Now that I have that silhouette ready, I can move on with the beam thingy that Syndrome has, that I can move on to the shading for his suit, as well as his gloves. And yeah, I did this in a separate layer as I did with my previous Inktober pieces. For smoothness, I would either use the smudge tool that they have in the INKP brush set, or I use the default airbrush for that. Yeah, I find doing pieces in using this textured background like really appealing, though it may not give the same tactile feedback as you do on a regular drawing paper, like the ones I use would be the watercolor one. But it does give off the same visuals, and you can edit this out too if you have any mistakes, compared to when you use a fine liner pen. And now for the details for the hair, the shadows as well as the highlights, and some bits of Syndrome's here. I used the lasso tool for the beam, and I duplicated it and used a Gaussian blur to make a glowing effect. And in the end, I used a bluish color to make Syndrome's beam pop out even more. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching the video.